Welcome to Baby's Grill, where we talk about issues that matter to the state, void of politics, fear, or favor. Policy think tank Integrated Social Development Center has suggested stronger action against illicit financial flows, warning that Ghana must prioritize plugging revenue leakages before deepening reliance on external economic oversight programs. The call follows Ghana's transition from the IMF supported extended credit facility program into a new policy coordination instrument arrangement with the International Monetary Fund. Addressing a press conference in Accra, ISODEC argued that Ghana's fiscal challenges are being driven not only by budget deficits and debt pressures, but also by large-scale capital outflows linked to trade misinvoicing, corporate tax avoidance, and weakness within the extractive sector. According to the group, Ghana lost an estimated $32.6 billion through illicit financial flows between 2013 and 2023. An amount is said far exceed the financing typically received under IMF-supported program. Ghana's cumulative IFF losses for the period 2013 and 2023 are estimated $32.6 billion money that left Ghana's economy through trade misinvoicing, corporate tax abuse, and the structural mechanism of unequal exchange. To put this in perspective, this figure dwarfs the financing that an IMF program will provide, ISODEC noted. ISODEC maintains that recovering lost revenues and strengthening domestic resource mobilization should become a central pillar of Ghana's economic strategy rather than continued dependence on external policy monitoring. The think tank also warned that excessive focus on IMF-style oversight framework risks diverting attention from critical domestic reforms needed to improve customs enforcement, strengthen tax auditing of multinational firms, and address loopholes within extractive sector contracts. According to ISODEC, tackling illicit financial flows could have more immediate lasting impact on Ghana's fiscal stability than external credibility programs. The group further stressed that Ghana's long-term economic resilience would depend not only on reducing borrowing but also improving the country's ability to retain and manage wealth generated from its own natural resources and economic activities. Not long ago, Ghana has declared our exit from IMF, and after that, there's been a new policy that has been on board, and that is the policy coordination instrument. And this is still a collabo between Ghana and the IMF. And this time around, it's not about going in to borrow money, but IMF will have to advise us on how to go about the handling of the economy, how we receive money, how to put the right things in place so that we don't find ourselves wanting and then running back to IMF for help. So after this was made public, the policy think tank Integrated Social Development Center has also suggested that we take stronger actions against illicit financial loss in the country. Now they are saying that we need to pay more attention to how we ought to manage our own natural resources, how we need to block all those loopholes that ends us up in debt. So let's take our country, our beautiful country, Ghana. We have gold, we have bauxite, we have diamond, we have salt, we have everything, we have oil. We have everything that a country needs to have in order to enrich yourself without being a slave to another country. So why then do we go to other countries for help? They are saying that in as much as we are taking advice from these people on how to put things in place, it's also needed and very, very significant that we know how to manage our resources in this country. We know the amount of money that leaves the coffers. And then we know how much is retained. We ensure that monies that are being allocated to projects are being used for its intended purpose. And we must also ensure that people who embezzle from the state, those monies are being retrieved. And that is what can help us as a country. Because when we go for this advice and then we refuse to do the needful, it's just like you pouring water on a stone. You know you cannot retrieve those water back. It's just a waste of time and energy. So which automatically means that we might go in for this advice. But if the right thing is not being done, it's just like we're wasting our time. And you see, the fact is, we know the truth. We are just avoiding it. It's just like yourself. You truly know who you are. Your mom does not even know you much more than you know yourself. There are things you do your parents are not aware. It is you and you alone. So in as much as they have that upper hand on you because they brought you to this world, they're not even given that opportunity to know more about what you do. You only tell them what they ought to know about you. So you know yourself better. You know what to do to improve. So if you're refusing to do it, automatically it's like you're just avoiding to accept the fact that this is something I'm not doing right, and these are the solution to it, but I just don't want to do it with the reasons better known to you. So when you come to Ghana, it's not as if we don't know what is going on. No. We can do better. We can do better if our resources are managed properly. We can do better if the right people are appointed to occupy state properties, state institutions. We can do better if money that are being embezzled from state officials are being retrieved. We can do better. But when we don't put these things in order and then we go in for the advice, mind you, they are looking at the outward, what they see is what they will advise you on. But we know ourselves, we know what we are doing in the dark. We can still go in for this advice. But if we still have people who are looting from the state, how are we going to keep up with this goal of stabilizing the economy, with this goal of becoming financially dependent, without we being without becoming financially independent, right? Without we being dependent on any other country for help. But when we shy away from our wrongs, when we shy away from the truth and pretend as if we don't see it, and then we go in for an advice, the advice is good. We can even implement those advice. But don't forget that we still have cockroaches in the cupboard who end up eating those foods. Don't forget that you are in a room with a mouse who end up chewing everything they see in that room. So to fight that, you need to get a spray. You need to get a medicine that can kill that cockroach once and for all. And so you are dealing with the issue from the roots and not from the branches. So this is this is just good. A good suggestion that we need to take. For me, personally, I'm so happy that we've exited from IMF because I know we can do it. If you set your mind to do something, you will do it. Let's forget about those hypocrites. We can do it, but we can only do it if some people are being held accountable. We can only do it if those monies are being retrieved. We can do it if those loopholes are being sealed. But we will only deceive ourselves and then pretend as if we are working, but we know behind the scene we still have those termites that are eating the woods. And that is what we want to prevent. If you don't want heart attack or BP, don't listen to this public accounts committee sort of thing. Because you end up dying before your time. And so these are some of the things. They are being brought before a committee. Why this money? Instead of using that money, why? Why do you use this? And the aim of that is to retrieve those money. I don't know whether the monies are being retrieved, that I can't tell. But the main purpose of that is to retrieve those monies. So if those monies are being retrieved, mind you, just have it in mind, or just imagine the number of people who have been picked up that have embezzled from the state. Imagine all those monies are retrieved. Like truly, truly retrieved, not only on paper, but they've retrieved those monies. Those money can be pushed into other developmental projects, and it's going to help you, it's going to help me. Mind you, the money is not for the government. It is my money, it is your money, it's the taxpayers' money. And so if the money is being used for the right thing, it will benefit me to benefit you. But if the money is not being used for the right thing, we are all going to suffer. We seriously applaud this government from exiting from IMF, and we are so grateful to them, because what we thought cannot be possible, they've made it possible, and that is a plus. But we are just hoping that in as much as they are going in for this advice, we will also take a look at our country, what we are not doing right, and how best we can improve on it. Why do people always loot from the state? That is what we should ask ourselves. And how best can we stop it? How can we retrieve this money? How can we prevent this thing from occurring? Then when we do that, we know that we are on course. We are making progress. But when we go for this advice and we still have these termites, we still have these cockroaches, we still have this mouse in a room, in the same room, where you have other valuable goods, then be rest assured that we are getting nowhere. So I think this is a good, beautiful suggestion that needs to be taken on. Minister of Finance, over to you. Thank you for making time with me on Debbie's Girl.